When people speak about the tragedy of Angus Young, they often refer not to a single catastrophic event in his personal life, but to the series of profound losses and challenges that have shaped his decades-long journey in rock music. As the electrifying school uniform-wearing guitarist and co-founder of AC/DC, Angus Young became one of the most recognizable figures in rock history. His explosive stage presence, relentless energy, and unmistakable guitar riffs helped define the hard rock sound of the 1970s and 1980s. Yet behind the roaring amplifiers and sold-out stadiums lies a story marked by grief, endurance, and the heavy emotional cost of sustaining a legendary band through unimaginable hardship. One of the earliest and most devastating tragedies to strike Angus was the death of his older brother and AC/DC co-founder, Malcolm Young, who served as the band's rhythm guitarist and primary songwriting force. Malcolm was not only Angus's creative partner but also his anchor, calm, steady, and business-minded where Angus was fiery and kinetic. In 2014, Malcolm retired from the band due to dementia, a heartbreaking diagnosis that stunned fans worldwide. His health declined rapidly, and he passed away in 2017. For Angus, losing Malcolm meant losing both a brother and the foundational pillar of AC/DC sound. Their musical chemistry had powered classics like Back in Black, Highway to Hell, and Thunderstruck. Continuing without Malcolm was emotionally wrenching, yet Angus carried forward the band's legacy in his brother's honor. Another painful chapter in Angus Young's life was the death of original AC/DC frontman Bon Scott in 1980. Scott's sudden passing from alcohol poisoning came just as the band was gaining massive international momentum. Angus was only in his mid-20s at the time, and the loss was a crushing blow. Rather than dissolving, the band regrouped with singer Brian Johnson and released Back in Black, which became one of the best-selling albums of all time. While the album symbolized triumph over tragedy, it also served as a tribute to Scott's memory. For Angus, the success carried a bittersweet undertone, as it was born from profound loss. The band's history includes further hardship, including the 2015 departure of drummer Phil Rudd due to legal troubles and the temporary exit of Brian Johnson in 2016 because of severe hearing issues. These events threatened the stability of AC/DC once again, forcing Angus into difficult decisions about how to preserve the band's identity while adapting to unavoidable change. Publicly, Angus has often appeared resilient and focused, rarely displaying overt emotion in interviews. However, sustaining a band for over 5 decades while repeatedly losing key members, some to death, others to illness, inevitably leaves an emotional imprint. The tragedy surrounding Angus Young is not scandal-driven or rooted in public controversy. Rather, it is tied to enduring grief while continuing to perform at the highest level. The rock and roll lifestyle, often glamorized in media portrayals, carries intense pressure, relentless touring schedules, and the risk of burnout. Angus maintained his iconic stage persona well into his later years, sprinting across stages with boundless energy, even as personal losses accumulated behind the scenes. For fans, the heartbreak lies in recognizing that the joyful riffs and electrifying performances were accompanied by private sorrow. Despite these hardships, Angus Young has remained dedicated to honoring AC/DC's legacy. The release of later albums, including Power Up in 2020, which featured previously unreleased material written with Malcolm, demonstrated his commitment to keeping his brother's spirit alive through music. The album was widely viewed as a tribute, underscoring how deeply intertwined Angus's life and career are with his family and bandmates. In many ways, the true emotional weight of Angus Young's story is the quiet perseverance required to stand on stage night after night, carrying memories of those who are no longer there beside him. His tragedy is not defined by personal scandal but by enduring loss within a tight-knit musical family. The heartbreak comes from understanding that behind one of rock's most energetic performers is a man who has repeatedly faced grief, yet chose to channel it into music rather than retreat from a spotlight.